Moon Platoon, you know what's cooler than a frosty meatball on a hot summer morning? Well, it is Mr. Whiteboard. Excuse me, Meatball. We're going to explain a question by a live stream viewer, Jamie R 2009. Could you please comment on the deep in the money calls placed yesterday? Yeah, I could. You're likely asking about this 120 million or so in the money calls, but normally this wouldn't be surprising. However, these are deep in the money. There are calls from $3 all the way to $20, right? And GME, if you guys aren't aware, is trading far, far above that. So why did this happen? And why did this happen again? This was on the 31st yesterday, and it happened on the 29th as well. Not as severe, right? We only have about 15 here, 6 here, 5 here, roughly about 25 million or so. But these were in one far greater, right? About 60 bucks to 100 bucks or so, 90 bucks, and a much less volume, right? So who is doing this? Well, we've explained this before in several different videos. Let's have Mr. Whiteboard explain this. Excuse me. We have hedge funds taking the opportunity from the market maker here. Let's assume that these guys, let's put names on them. This is Melvin and this is Citadel. Melvin has to hurt the price right here. So with the selling action, they are taking a naked short. They are borrowing from the ether, and when they do, that produces negative price downward pressure. Now they have all these failure to delivers because they've essentially borrowed from nobody. They don't have anybody that they've actually borrowed the stocks from to sell them. So what can they do? Well, the market makers can send them synthetic longs down here. And so when they get these synthetic longs, they can start to reset the failure to deliver timer. And now to pass these deep in the money calls back to the market maker, they use this to earmark exactly what types of synthetic longs are getting passed back to the market maker. Now the market maker is net neutral, right? They sold longs, synthetic longs, so they became in a short position, and then ultimately they were passed back the synthetic longs, and now they are neutral, whereas the hedge funds stay short. However, they get their FTDs cycled through. So now that we have a visual explanation of this, let's go through a little bit of a journey that hopefully we will not take too long on, because we have DEJF2, user DEJF2's research from a day ago talking about how the SI percent is fake, and then from 20 hours ago, Deep in the Money calls activity part 2, right? And we were covering Alexis Goldstein's AMA, and when someone was asking what would be the most effective play, writing to the SEC to file complaints or writing directly to Congress, she said if you could do both would be great, but she recommends writing to the senators and congressperson. Well, guess who just did that? Yes, DEJF2. 4 hours ago, you wrote to the SEC regarding his findings. And what are those findings exactly? Well, if you guys stick to the end of this video, make sure to smash that like button so that more Moon Platoon apes find out about that intuitive visual understanding, as well as this deep in-depth understanding from just one person who bought a Market Chameleon free trial membership and found out all about this. I think it's going to be a good ride, and I'm excited to run with you. So once again, I don't want to block Meatball, so let me pull this up a little bit, and let's get started. So too long didn't read. On March 31st, $52 million were spent simultaneously on deep in the money call options for GME, ranging from $3 to $19, right? This is the deep in the money calls that happened. None of the previous days show such activity. We have seen this stuff in the past already. Today, he tries to size the rabbit hole. Back in February, a bunch of apes identified weird transactions taking place in deep in the money calls, mainly at $12 and $15. First, people thought it was a kind of oddball bullish play, but it soon transpired that these never appear in the open interest. They are seemingly immediately exercised. So the SEC paper discusses the mechanism of this practice. Remember, all 3 of these articles are linked in the description, so go show this post some love. In fact, upvote. Okay, you guys can't see, but make sure to upvote. In one evening, he has identified approximately 30 call option strikes and expiries that they believe have been used for this practice since January 1st. And he believes that he has traced where approximately 44 million missing GME shares have been hidden cumulatively. He proves that they are not organic activity by identifying their hallmarks and that this practice is taking place cyclically. The deep in the money call anomalies are back March 31st, and this is the same option sonar that we just saw. You ready to go down this rabbit hole? Well, we're going to make it nice and snappy. After tallying up the historical volume of the type of call options used for this exercise today, he's determined that the 6th and 8th of March were the heaviest days for this activity, with 8,000 plus contracts traded across April 16, $7 to $19 call strike options, and November 4.5 call. January 2022, $3 call. The following are his favorites, right? April 16th, $12 and $15 calls. These were clear patterns that would jump out at anyone, so they were heavily abused in the last week of February, first week of March. So he goes through, finds a couple of these data points. There are way more. Furthermore, this is not new. This is where the rabbit hole starts to get interesting. This stuff was happening way before any of us knew what a stonk was. Below, they can see the process of the rabbit hole from the 10th of March activity to identifying manipulated strikes that led him to believe that something has been happening rampantly before the January rally. You are free to go through these screenshots yourself. But now is the most important piece, the full timeline of this activity. So what we have here are 3 different stages, right? The silence before the storm, like some of you in the live chat love to talk about the silence before the storm. 6.5 million FTDs are reset right here. And the mad scramble here, right? 30 million FTDs reset between these 9 trading days, and then 14 trading days of buffer, nothing to see here. 11 trading days of FTDs reset, 7.5 million, and then another 13 trading days. So this is the cycle that we are visually experiencing right here. You may think that this volume of call options around the squeeze time may have to do with people who are diamond-handed, them selling or exercising. Are they getting out, paper handing? No. Identified the highest volume options on January 27th and looked at the actual trades. So what does this activity actually correlate with? Let's get some data from EOR, from S3. GME short interest is $2 billion, 10 million shares shorted, about 20% of the float, 16.5% S3 SI percent float, and 0.82% fee, right? Superimpose this with what he says. S3 partners short interest versus deep in the money call option anomalies. Please note that these charts are not perfectly aligned. It was aligned to the end, i.e. to March 28th. So we have this small arrow right here. This deep in the money call anomalies are happening later on here. And we can see this correlation with the price. Number 1, the shorts are buying what they can on the open market to close some positions during these times and resetting the FTD clock on the remainder of the practice. And number 2, the rising price puts their position at more risk as they scramble to reset the FTDs. Seems pretty simple. It's actually pretty simple. And if you still don't understand, hey, drop me a comment and I'm hopefully going to be able to drive you to the right place. However, here, number 1, the 13th of January, aka the day when people realized DFE might be right? People started jumping on with great intention to get to the moon. 22nd of January, there was the FTDs reset that day, and 3 million a day were reset until January 27th. January 27th, the day really squoze, right? This is the first gamma squeeze, got to 347. Immediately, 6.5 million FTDs were reset that day. February 24th, aka the day we understood we aren't crazy, right? That rally starting at 3:15 p.m. to close $91. They may be wrong, but they invite to think that they could be wrong and improve our shared understanding. This is the point, right? Guys, don't take this as complete truth. Take this as a method for people with money to stay in power with more money. In fact, we even covered DTC 005 recently in this live stream, and you guys should check out that video about how DTC is starting to create a brand new break to this cyclical pattern that we've seen here before, basically not allowing a share to be borrowed more than once. That cyclicality could be the breaking point here. Does the SEC know? This is the scary part. Of course. Here's the quoted section from the 2013 paper. This is, it seems like in 2013, we covered exactly how they do synthetic longs in 2013. They have had a bunch of their information from their website be how to do illegal bad stuff since 2013. So they've known for a good amount of time. This is the second transaction to reset the clock. You guys can go cover it a little bit more detail. If one ape can figure it out by signing up for a free trial of Market Chameleon, what are the regulators doing? Let's find out. Right, we have deep in the money calls activity part 2 already, so we aren't just breaking this up into another video. Guys, tune in next time for this video. We provide the most value right up front. Right, so once again, show this post some love, right? Give it a quick upvote, as well as give this video a quick upvote by pressing that like button, so that more space apes can find out about it. Too long didn't read. So yesterday, March 31st, the weird deep in the money call options started happening again, right? So they started down that rabbit hole. Why is this huge? This is a quick summary. Number one, this activity for one reason or another is cyclical. And number two, the cycles are getting tighter and more brutal, right? We're tired of playing a little kid's game. They want to break our will right away. So altogether, we're on the second day of a deep call activity cycle. April 1st, 10,000 contracts, 1 million shares laundered, FTEs reset, whatever you want to call it. 3 times as much as yesterday. Good on you, Kenny G. We saw these charts already. Our anomalies versus SEC failed to deliver data. So this is the same information as before, just a quick update. Let's see right here. So here's proof for all these individual trades from April 1st. Hallmarks: huge block size compared to open interest, same strikes and expiries as used before, 4 trades buying all of those strikes and expiries at these timestamps, and of course the PHLX exchange. If you didn't read his post before, this is the SEC paper that he was talking about earlier that was very likely happening here. So they know how to get this done, and this is for smoking guns about how this could be done, right? Once again, still a hypothesis, so make sure that you, I've reached out to this creator of the DD to see if he has more to say, just like 8-bit coming on the show. More than welcome to pitch people who might want to be able to join the show in that regard. Once again, Alexis Goldstein was the one that said you should be contacting your congressman unless you have time to do both. And it seems like the DEJF2 did have time to check out the SEC. And you wanted it, it's the right thing to do, so it's been done. He has essentially become the whistleblower to the SEC. Any of you can do this, actually. The thing to do is to contact the relevant SEC individuals, your state, Senate, and Congress representatives, and quote the submission number as urgently in need of investigation. So you can help as well. Here's that submission number, 16173-793-285, if you want to just pile on and upvote his SEC submission in the grander metaphor of upvoting. If you guys wanted a link to be able to contact the SEC, you guys got it, right? So here is the list of all current proposed rules at the SEC. So I'll be able to send this out with the description in the video here, as well as all of the posts that DEJF2 has written. So hopefully that gave you a holistic understanding of Jamie R. 2009's question, what is the deep in the money calls placed yesterday? It could be, given the SEC's 2013 papers about exactly how to do this, cyclical FTDs covering, and with the new DTCC 5 rule, we could see an end to that coming up soon. If you guys like this video, once again, we really appreciate it if you do place a like on this video so that more apes find out about it, and we will see you likely on this sheet one of these days, right? Being able to support the show by either pressing the join button after you press that subscribe button, and the bell button really does make a difference and supports the learning process for beginners and expert veterans alike. Hope you guys enjoyed that video, and we'll see you in the money.